while it's a Monday and we got to record because I screwed up our schedule again. I'm constantly screwing up our schedule, but I'm glad to be here. We've got a full docket, including we're going to talk about some good beers, bad beers, mostly bad beers, among other things. So the worst cheap beer in America in a new survey was Milwaukee's Beast. And that was our go-to beer when I was a teenager. Yes, yeah. Milwaukee's Beast.
I mean, I've had my fair share of the Beast as well.
I don't think it's that bad.
I mean, it's not that good either, but I wouldn't have put it at the worst.
It ranked worst. But was like Budweiser was on the list.
Budweiser was 6th, and I thought
Budweiser's the king of beers. What were they thinking?
I like Budweiser.
Budweiser's number 6, number 5. Ice House.
Anything that has the word
bad.
ice.
Ice House is bad.
Anything that has the word ice in it is typically pretty.
Yes.
Number 4, Busch.
Just like straight Busch.
Straight Busch.
Yeah, not Busch Light.
Well, I think it's and varieties. So it's when you're talking about bad beers, it's Budweiser, it's Bud Light, it's the Bud.
I don't think
it is.
I didn't get that.
Oh, okay.
I think they're just straight up saying.
I think
this,
just Busch.
This specific. Yeah.
Because like at number 2,
you're thinking it's the entire Busch family.
I think that if you said I have a Busch Light, they'd say, "Oh, that one's okay." That's way higher on the list. It's much better than regular Busch, and I would say no. I would say the lighter versions of these beers are worse.
I understand your logic. I understand your logic.
Okay, yeah, because Busch Light is worse than Busch.
Well, I don't disagree.
Keystone Light, which is number 3, or Keystone is number 3.
Now I like Keystone.
You like Keystone Light.
Yeah, I've never had true Keystone, but in Andy's logic, if I've had Keystone Light, Keystone could only be better. So if I like Keystone Light, Keystone should be better.
Yep. Number 2 was Natty Ice.
There we go, Ice.
Yep. And number 1, the Beast.
Milwaukee's best Beast Premium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, and actually I thought it was Best Light on there, but it is Best Premium.
Yes.
So those are the world's crappiest beers. Is Milwaukee's Best even still made in Wisconsin?
I don't know.
I don't think it is.
No, I've had a lot worse beer than these. I can't say I've had all these. I don't think I've had ever had a regular Keystone.
Doesn't Busch own Milwaukee's Best now, or somebody else?
Let's take a.
I don't think Miller Coors owns Milwaukee's Best. I think Milwaukee's Best is no longer Milwaukee anything.
It's because it was far from our best.
Yeah, we got rid of that. We didn't want people to associate other than name. It's Miller Coors?
It's Miller Brewing Company.
Well, did you know that, Molson, Coors, Miller, they're dropping a bunch of...
Yeah, we can talk about that too. That was in the news a few weeks ago, but they're dropping like 20 brands.
Yeah, they're getting rid of Milwaukee's Best Premium. And Keystone Ice, Ham's Special.
Ham Special Light.
Ham Special Light.
Now, there's a very big difference because I am a diehard fan of Ham's Premium, which is just their regular beer. So
but the thing is they've realized these are their crappiest beers, and they're like, we might as well just X them.
Yeah.
We might as well just cut them right off the list.
High Life Light.
Yeah.
Steel Reserve. Oh gosh, that's garbage.
Steel Reserve.
That's
is garbage.
good. I'm so happy.
Who bought that? But High Life Light isn't horrible beer. That one surprised me a little bit.
Yeah. And Old English 800.
But to back up, doesn't Miller Coors offer about 40 light brands of beer though?
Yes.
And what can the difference possibly be between all of them? You've got like your High Life Light, you got your Miller Light, you got your MGD Light, you got your MGD 64 Light, you got your Coors Light, you got your.
A lot of lights. Milwaukee's Best Light.
Yeah, you got your Milwaukee's Beast Light.
They said that they were
Ham's Light.
They were dropping a bunch to focus more on their hard seltzer line and things like that. Stuff that's actually selling.
They're gonna
focus on.
In the word of COVID, pivoting, the breweries had to. They must have to constantly be pivoting because a few years back it was all your lemonades.
Yep.
It was your Mike's and your the whole lemonade thing. Then there was root beers for just a little while, your dad's favorite, non-favorite root beer, or whatever those brands were.
Yep.
Now they're into seltzers, and everybody and their brother's making a seltzer.
Ciders were in for a while.
Oh, yeah, the ciders were in a little bit before the lemonades.
I consumed a lot of Busch Light Apple this weekend. It's the first time I've had it, and I went through a lot of it.
Busch Light Apple.
Yes.
Never heard of it.
It's
Is it good?
It's a good day beer.
Unless
it's just like a refreshing on the boat type of beer for a Busch Light,
Is there a Busch Light watermelon?
No.
Maybe I had the apple then.
Yeah. It's red can. Go figure.
No. I had Busch Light watermelon tasting thing.
I'm gonna look that up. I don't know what that is.
Like Busch Light Shandy? I don't know what
Busch Light Shandy.
I had Busch Light something
Busch
that
Light
tasted like
Apple
watermelon.
Came out last year,
apple.
and I'm pretty sure that's the only fruity.
No, it's Busch Light Shandy something.
I don't know what you're talking about. Bud Light? was it?
No, it was Bush Light. It was in like a pinkish hued can.
Not a thing.
I think you're.
It's a.
I think it was a seltzer.
No, it wasn't a seltzer. It wasn't apple either.
Was it a
Varieties of
watermelon Rita?
No, it's not Bud Light.
Were
it's
you
Bush
drinking
Light.
lady drinks?
That's what I came up when it searched Bush Light.
Search
watermelon.
Bush Light flavors. Bush Light flavors. It wasn't that. Anyway,
I typed in Bush watermelon, and the first thing that came up was Natty Rush watermelon splash from Anheuser-Busch.
it was not Bush Light apple. It was that yellow can. What's that yellow? No, that's
just Bush Light
No, it
in a
wasn't
corn
that.
can.
It wasn't that. It wasn't that. What are the flavors of Bush Light?
Those are them. Dude.
You're just looking at the image search. Just be a man. We went through this last time. I asked you to search out the definition
You know
of a
what?
word.
This time I'm
and
going to
you
kill
said it was
you
an insect.
because why don't you just take my word of it that Bush Light apple is the only flavored
I'm
light
telling
beer?
you, I had a Bush Light in the last 2 weeks that had a fruit flavor in
Was it a natural light in a pink can? Their lemonade, strawberry lemonade.
yeah, that's what it was.
That's natural light.
Oh, well, see, they're all the same to me. That was
or
it.
Keystone Light.
Yeah, no, it was Natty Light.
It's a Keystone.
Yes, it was a natural light. Whatever you just said is what it was.
You owe me an apology.
No, if you would have just searched it out and then declared sooner
Or you could just
that I was
trust your
confused.
cold talkers. Natural light, that one.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
The
That's
Natter
one.
Days, they call them.
Yeah, that's the one I had. So
Boy, am I glad we got that figured out.
Man. Well, how did you like it?
well, I thought it was a bush.
we know.
What's the difference between natural light and bush light? Aren't they the same?
Did you like the taste?
It was all right.
Okay.
So is Natty Light the thing that everyone gets all excited about, or is it Bush Light?
Bush Light.
Oh, so is
Busch
Natty
Light's-
Light not something like I'm not hip if I drink a Natty Light?
Oh, you are. I mean, that's still like a thing. I drank Natty Light in college.
That's a cheap college beer, yeah.
But I know a few people who still drink it, and I think the Natter Days, the thing you tried, is
You're
making
acting
a
like
comeback.
Bush Light is not a cheap beer.
Well, it's not that cheap anymore, really. It's
Oh.
just like your regular Coors and stuff.
It is?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
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 I didn't
rack
know
a
that.
Bush.
I mean, when I was in college, it was the Keystone and Natty. Those were the two. There was probably some other.
I always thought
garbage
that
ones in
Bush
there,
Light
but-
was right in that same league as like the other cheap ones. All right, we are probably boring the hell out of everyone.
I don't know. A lot of people like beer in Wisconsin.
Let's talk about the man who got probation after hitting a man with a hatchet.
How do you only get probation after hitting a man with a hatchet?
He hit him with the blunt end.
Oh,
Is that true?
No, I don't know.
it makes sense though.
Do you think in the state statutes it's like hatchet sentences, aids in sentencing for hatchets,
Well-
blunt end, probation,
Yes.
sharp end, life
Yeah.
sentence.
Yes.
Yep. You gotta specify.
Yeah, you could get whacked with the actual like the long flat side.
I think they call that hatchet slapping, and it's just a misdemeanor. It's
Oh,
nothing.
if it's across the jaw, it's a slap.
Yes.
If it's over the head, it's a whack.
Yes.
And I think either way, it's just probation.
So which one did this guy do?
I think he hatchet backhanded him.
Oh, okay.
Backhanded him with a hatchet.
Well, actually, this story's from May, but he's just now getting his sentence for it or whatever.
Does
it
it
is.
say what damage he did with the hatchet?
Well, it says 2 people were arrested in Dunn County, accused of assaulting 2 people, and then hitting a third with a hatchet.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they were arrested after investigators stopped by a residence that was known to be a high-traffic drug scene. There was also the same residence where a homicide had occurred just a few months prior.
Well, this is special. Where is this?
This is
Racine.
It's got to be Mount Pleasant.
no, this is Dunn
Mount
County.
Pleasant.
This is over by Menominee and over.
Oh yeah.
Investigators drove by the residence and found him grabbing a hatchet from the vehicle and running towards others in the residence.
Oh, so it was like he didn't really get to like hatchet.
Yeah, he didn't actually hit anyone, did he?
He was found to have already hit an individual with a hatchet twice, and then prepared to hit a third time when the law enforcement jumped in.
I
to
don't
stop.
think you can get hit by a hatchet and it doesn't inflict damage.
That's what I mean.
I don't
How
think
is this
yeah,
only like a
I don't think you could take 3 hits with a hatchet.
No.
How is this not like intentional homicide?
Guy was hatchet crazy.
That's the best pun you've ever done.
But so I don't understand how you don't inflict damage with a hatchet to the point of like you're going to prison for a long time unless he intentionally wasn't hitting someone hard.
It was
just
over
threatening with a hatchet.
It was over a disagreement over drug debts.
Okay, you don't swing a hatchet over drug debts and not try to hurt
Not have
somebody. You
intent
don't
to
just
kill.
say, you know.
You owe me money.
Yeah.
You owe me
Please.
money.
Yeah.
I heard
No,
that
you're
this
gonna
hatchet had a laser pointer on it, and they were actually trying to entertain the cat, and he accidentally hit somebody.
This guy just got in the way.
Yep, guy was in the way of the cat.
So was it a drug cat?
no,
Oh, just a regular cat.
secondhand high cat,
Yeah,
maybe.
catnip.
So, did you guys see the crazy story about the fire chief, the missing fire chief?
Yeah.
Is this ringing a bell with anybody?
Yeah, I just saw like on his face on Facebook. And
So,
stuff
what is
pop
the
up.
story here?
Well, okay, so the fire chief of the Arcadia Glencoe Fire Department went missing. He's 53 years old. Went missing, and the original story was that he just hadn't reported back to his family. His phone had been off, and doesn't appear to be suspicious. That was the first thing they said. And then it was yesterday. They got bad news that they found a truck belonging to Halverson up in Sawyer County.
Like in Hayward area.
Yeah, up near Hayward. And this guy's, from down by Arcadia. Found a truck in a remote wooded area in Hayward with his body inside.
Well, they haven't confirmed it was his body.
Okay.
But a body. But
Well, so I'm
can-
confused. Like, it was a homicide or a suicide?
they said
or...
foul play is not suspected at this time.
Yeah.
So-
So at first it didn't seem like, it wasn't too suspicious, just like he's been gone, just a little out of the ordinary. Then his wife said, he hasn't really done this. We're going to check in. And then, went from like...
So, what's the time frame here? How many days does this go?
Well, it was first reported on, let's see, last
Sunday.
Wednesday.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, and then they received a call on Sunday
Yeah,
about
so
the
it
truck
was
being found.
a few days.
Yeah.
And they found it, almost the entire state away in the woods.
How many hours could you be gone before your wife would figure something as suspicious has happened?
I wouldn't.
Less than
not
an
a
hour.
day. Yeah.
I'm going to defer to Andy. Are you being serious?
Speaking of which, I should text her.
It would probably be. Oh, I would guess like
The evening.
2 hours or less. I mean,
Yeah,
she would really think something's up.
knowing you have a
We
typically
have a good
regular
communication.
schedule.
Yeah,
Like, hey, I
yeah.
have practice, or hey, I'm going to be right home after work, or I'm going to be volunteering at the theater, or whatever that might be. So 2-3 hours fly by. Your wife's on the horn with the sheriff. Andy's gone.
Well, if I would say after 2-3 hours, and she has no idea where I am, and I'm not
You're
answering
not
my-
responding to
phone,
texts,
Phone
yeah.
is off or whatever. Yeah, she would think,
Yeah.
oh my God, he's dead in a ditch somewhere.
Yep.
So would she call the police or call your relatives, or both?
She might start with maybe some coworkers or something like that, or
Smart.
some friends. Maybe he's with
You
somebody.
trace him.
Yeah.
Is he getting drunk with somebody and just is having such a good time he decided I'm not letting you know?
Yep. He's
Is that
drinking-
where you would be?
No, I don't know.
If you went missing?
I'm wondering, like, I think my wife would probably go like 6 hours. No, that's probably long. I bet she's probably on the same time frame
Right.
you are. 3 to 4 hours, I'm not responding. I don't think she'd call the police, though. I think she'd take the
Yep.
same
I
course of
agree,
action
yeah.
as yours.
That's pretty drastic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It depends what time it is. Like you said, if I'm supposed to be home from work at 5 and I wasn't home at work, I'd get a text that said,
If
"Where
I'm
are
not
you?"
home
Like,
before
right away.
midnight, she'd be on the horn with the police.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's out drinking all the rest of the hams.
Yeah, I'm buying up the leftover hams.
But so it's still a mystery, because why did this guy disappear, and why did he show up in Hayward, and why is his body in the front seat
Well,
of
if
his
they
truck?
say foul play is not suspected, I mean, I think you kind of connect the dots there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, just I don't
So
know.
it's not really a mystery anymore, in my
Kinda sad.
opinion.
No,
It's just it's just sad. It's just sad.
well, can we cheer it up with anything?
Yeah, some good news
I'm
for
gonna cheer it up
Wisconsin.
with this. Is the remainder is all good news.
Oh,
Yes.
good.
There are no hatchets, no deaths. Wisconsin cranberry growers are going to lead the nation
Yeah.
in cranberry production, which we talked about cranberry
Oh, yeah.
production in an early episode. And were we number one then, or was Massachusetts or somebody number one?
Fun fact, the forecast that they're predicting for this year would mark the 27th consecutive year that Wisconsin has led the nation.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so we are number one.
Tough prediction on
We-
their part then. really had to,
Yeah.
really had
It's
to-
a little preliminary, but I think
Yeah.
we can go out on a limb and say
Yeah,
we're going to be number one.
We're going to do it.
So it's not like we're just winning by a bushel.
Is that how you measure cranberries?
Maybe.
I think you measure them by the bushel,
Yeah,
don't you?
cool. I didn't know
Because it's a
that.
commodity.
Sure.
How do you measure them?
Like, what is the unit of measurement?
It's got to be a bushel.
Yeah.
Did you know that Wisconsin produces more than half of the world's supply of cranberries?
Because nobody else eats them.
Cranberries are in everything, though. Cran apple and cran grape
Here?
and cran. Oh,
I don't think they're sitting having like cranberry tea
I think-
in Europe.
I think it's a barrel.
Oh, it might be barrels.
It's a barrel. A cranberry barrel measures
That makes sense.
a certain amount of cubic inches.
It should,
yeah.
Back in the day when they still had like threshing in that and
Yep.
bees.
Yep.
Then they measured it by the bushel.
Yes.
But once we got beyond threshing and bees, they moved to barrels.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because we didn't have barrels back in the day.
It's a lot easier to trade a bushel than trading a barrel.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know.
you got to wheel it on one of those special dollies.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
and then when they're done, you turn it. You use it to burn your garbage.
Right. You can't go over to the neighbor and get a cow for a couple bushels of cranberries anymore. So
So yeah, so we're gonna win in cranberries once again.
Yep.
Now-
We would do $1 billion in cranberries.
$1 billion in
One
cranberries.
1 billion. Yeah.
holy crap.
I just didn't realize it was more than half of. I thought maybe could be half the U.S. That would be even
Maybe
a
the
big deal, but half
discussion
the
we were
world.
having is Wisconsin #1 in domestic cranberries? We're not, are we? Isn't Massachusetts #1?
No, I think you're thinking of something else.
What was
It said the forecast marks the 27th consecutive year that
Oh,
Wisconsin has led the nation.
Oh, never mind. I got off. I'm all messed up. Let's talk about something else.
Okay.
If we're gonna win, I would like to win the barefoot water ski figure 8 championship, which is going to be held in Crandon.
This was a fascinating event.
I think this has happened before in Crandon.
This is
ringing a bell. With
This
me.
is in the past now, right? This is a recap.
Oh, is
or is
it?
Yes, it was concluded for this year.
Okay.
Yes.
Does this always happen in Crandon?
It sounds like it.
That does say the headline is they host the world's largest barefoot figure 8, but then you read further down and it says hundreds gathered in Crandon and there were 152 entries. So it's not big.
Well, guys got to ask themselves how many barefoot figure 8 water skiing competitions are there?
Well,
to be the world's
I thought you were
largest.
going to say how many barefoot figure 8 water skiers are there.
Apparently 152.
There's at least 152, yeah.
So who won? Do they time you?
And well, so the deal is each run
actually pretty cool.
features 2 skiers facing off behind a boat that just keeps making a figure 8
so
shape.
you're going over your own
The name
waves.
of the game is to stay up longer than the person next to you.
So I
Okay,
think
so
it's
it's a grudge
bracket.
match.
Yeah.
Which actually sounds interesting.
Is it a bracketed grudge match?
How else could you get? That's what I envision. Because if it's 1 versus 1,
Right.
you win, you advance. Would
But
be how
152 would be
a big bracket?
skis.
Yeah. It'd be a big bracket.
probably
you
different
ski.
divisions. Women's
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that would be entertaining to watch. I could grab a case of hams and
Yeah.
it'd be kind of neat.
Barefoot too. That
yeah.
would be something.
Have any of you ever done barefoot water skiing?
No.
I have tried and failed several
Really?
times back when I was much younger than I am now.
I've never tried.
Sucked up a lot of water.
Sure.
Ropes tangled around places they shouldn't be tangled.
Right.
Things like that.
Driver kept going.
No, but
He's just kind of flapping and skimming across the water.
Turns out he could ski on his back really well.
yeah. I'm not very good at any water sport for some reason. I don't know why.
That's okay.
Yeah. Born loser. You know who's not a born loser?
Who dat?
Who's that?
Giannis.
Giannis?
Oh, it's Giannis.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yep.
Born
Yeah.
loser.
He is not a born loser.
I think Tim was saying you might be.
Oh, yeah, I know I am. So Giannis is a part owner.
Stop saying that.
What?
It's not Giannis.
G, to be honest.
Okay.
So he's a part owner of the Brewers.
Yeah, it said if you're watching the Brewers pregame show on Friday, you might have noticed that Giannis was wearing a Brewers
Giannis.
uniform. And it says, no, they haven't signed him to play first base or to pitch, but he's part of the Brewers ownership group.
Isn't this the same gimmick as Aaron
Sure.
owning part of the Bucks?
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Aaron couldn't even come to the Bucks championship games because he was too busy doing whatever. Working on his
I know what
mental
he was
health.
Doing.
Yeah.
It's clear what he's doing.
Giannis admitted he
Stop it.
he does.
He's never going to listen to this podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Not with you guys butchering his name.
He admitted he doesn't know a lot about baseball, but he is interested in learning. He also thinks about his future, and owning a professional sports franchise interests him.
Did you guys happen to watch the Brewer game? It was like a throwback to Brewers from the late 90s, early 2000s.
Did not.
There was a Brewer pitcher on there, so I, of course, went down the Wikipedia. He partially owns the Milwaukee Admirals, and I forget which pitcher it was. He's a Brewer pitcher from like 2000 to 2007. He's like their main dude, and I can't think of his name right now. But he
I think I know who you're talking about, but I don't want to say it yet because I don't want to sound
partially
like an idiot.
owns the Admirals. So so what do you think Giannis is?
Yeah, Ben
share-
Sheets.
Yeah,
I
Ben
knew
Sheets.
that. I
Yeah.
was scared to say it.
What percentage of the Brewers do you think he owns? Like
It didn't
0.01?
It said
doesn't
that there's like 17 owners of the company, and they all gave up shares to let him in, but they didn't say how much.
Yeah. Well, doesn't the one dude owns more than 50%, right,
I would think.
of the Brewers? Who's their majority owner?
Do you think, while I'm looking that up, do you think we could buy a part of a sports team in Wisconsin, even if it's an insignificant
I
one?
don't think anyone's willing to. Yeah, well, you could buy part of the Green Bay Packers, and you could do that
That's
stupid
true.
little thing where you get a paper share.
It's funny that you say that because that's
isn't that
exactly
ironic?
it's exactly how it's structured.
I guess I was thinking of something a little bit more substantial.
You get to go to the shareholder meeting and everything.
Brewers, okay.
Yeah, but Giannis did say he's excited to do it. Milwaukee's made me who I am today. Without Milwaukee giving me the opportunity, I wouldn't be who I am.
Mark Atana. Can you say his name since
No,
you're so
that's
good
why
at
I pointed
Giannis?
it at you.
Mark.
That's got to be Giannis's brother, huh?
Yeah, it could be my. No, I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah, well, so the Brewers owner, Mark A, owns
Mark
more
A. Mark.
owns more
A.
than
Mark.
50%, I think. Since we're on athletes,
Yeah.
how about the Wisconsin athletes at the Paralympics?
Yeah, that's coming up.
You're our guy on
Sure.
on talking about this.
Sure.
Yep.
Well, so the Olympics finished up, and now we're moving on to the Paralympic Games, which are going to be held starts tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
In Tokyo.
You don't say.
Yep. And we have some Wisconsin athletes that
Do
will
the
be there.
Paralympics always follow the same venue as the Olympics, or is this just coincidental that they're in Tokyo?
Tim, you want to look that up?
I do.
I think they're in Tokyo.
Well, it says Tokyo
Well,
here,
I
but
might
did you
have-
just make that apart?
I might have made that up.
Well, you sounded convinced.
Yeah.
They're actually in Ohio, not Tokyo.
So we have Haley Dans. She's 30 from Wauwatosa. She's doing the para-triathlon. John, let's see. Let's go. Joe Delagrave from Prairie du Chien. He's doing wheelchair rugby. Now, that would be interesting to watch.
That would be nuts.
We have 4 people on the wheelchair basketball team at the Paralympics in Wisconsin. John Boy from Milton, Nate Hines from Cedar Grove, a guy named Matt from Coleman, and Jake Williams from Milwaukee. And the last one is Leah Coriel. She's 56 from La Crosse, and she does compound archery. And when I first read this, I thought that Leah Coriel, 56, in the Paralympic Games was competing in lacrosse at 56, but no, she's from La Crosse.
Yes. Got to read closely.
Yeah, but
So-
she's 56 and still doing the Olympics.
One of the most inspirational and coolest things I've ever seen is I went to the Pond Hockey World Championships in Eagle River, Wisconsin a couple years ago.
Sure.
And they have a Paralympic pond hockey.
Oh,
And it's like watching those guys play pond hockey was like, I could not stop watching them.
Cool.
It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
As far as I can tell, they do go to the same city as the
So they follow the Olympics. Well, since we're talking about events, how about we just finish them out with what do we got going on in Scotty?
sure. Well, I got a few things going on.
Like what?
Thanks, Tim. Well,
Do we have any bees or threshing contests this week?
no, the oldest.
We have a BBQ.
We do have a BBQ.
How about
yep.
the Death's Door BBQ?
That's in Washington Island, Wisconsin, which I'm not exactly sure where that is.
Up in
Isn't
Door
that
County.
Is it?
Yeah, I was going to say I thought it was the whole Door County thing,
is.
Washington Island.
Well, they're doing a Death's Door barbecue, and this is sanctioned by the Kansas City Barbecue Society. So you know
that's big.
You know it's legit.
That's big.
They're giving $5,000 in prize money, lots of barbecue stuff, and some big band jazz music to go with it.
Big band jazz.
Pretty sure there's a bar on Washington Island that is known as the oldest bar in Wisconsin. They were the only bar that stayed open through Prohibition because a doctor owned it and could legally serve bitters. So he served bitters, and it's alcoholic.
Wow. How did you know that?
Because you can go there and do a shot of bitters and get your name on the wall, and it's like
Bitters, the primary ingredient in an old fashioned.
yeah. So that's a very Wisconsin thing, right?
Very
there.
fun fact, right
I wonder
there.
if that's the birthplace of the old fashioned, if it's got such a strong tie to bitters.
I don't even want to look that up because in my head I just want to think it is.
Okay.
I don't want to know the answer.
What else you got going on this weekend?
Well, in East Troy, there's the Electric Railroad Dinner Train that's running running this weekend,
Yes.
and they're going to run weekends through September and October, where you just can ride on the railroad car for
that sounds like something Andy would do.
dinner, and yeah, that looks nice.
Yes, I could see you doing that. I'm more like this last event.
Oh, the Root Beer Bash.
Yes.
Did you know that Glendale, Wisconsin, is the root beer capital of the universe?
You
Not
darn-
just the world.
That's what it says. Welcome to the root beer capital of the universe, Glendale, Wisconsin.
You're darn
So,
tootin'.
it's an entire festival centered around root beer.
I love root beer.
I like root beer, and
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of not saying world or North America. I like saying universe.
Yeah.
You know, that establishes that you are like, don't even bother.
Yep.
Because there's nobody larger.
There ain't a ship that could land on this world that's got on Glendale right
Yeah,
now.
because we've already. You think you're gonna bring root beer in from another universe that's
No.
got something on
No,
Glendale's
no,
root beer?
no.
Don't even try it.
Earth's roots make the best beer.
Yeah. Well, that concludes. Unless, do we have an Eric quote?
You know what? I asked Eric to be involved in this to some degree. You know, I mentioned that we have some food over here that needs to be eaten yet, and
Yeah.
he said no. And I said, would you come and give us a funny quote? And he said no. And I said, well, what about this one? This one's funny. No.
Why
So
don't you
he's
like
just-
us anymore?
Just being a stick in the mud over there.
Do you have an Eric quote or no?
The quote was,
Sounds like no, no, no.
yeah,
That's cool.
that's all he
Your
says.
quote.
That's all he
No,
says.
sometimes he says sure.
Oh.
The quote was, she's trashy, but in a good way.
Eric said that.
Eric said that. Yeah.
About who?
We probably
Yeah,
should
okay.
go.
Some celebrity, probably.
All right.
Well,
Yeah.
this concludes. Good afternoon.
Good evening.
And good night.